Ethereum breaks all-time highs, and with a major upgrade just days away, things are looking very bright for Ethereum. In today's Ethereum update, we're going to look at the latest Ethereum news, as well as Ethereum technical analysis to let you know exactly where Ethereum is going to go in the coming hours and days. Hello guys, and welcome to the House of Crypto. I make realistic, up-to-date videos on Ethereum, as well as other major cryptocurrencies and growth stocks with great potential. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on the way in to be kept up to date with all of the latest happening in the markets. So as mentioned earlier, over here on Ethernodes, you can see that Ethereum Berlin upgrade countdown shows that we are only 2 days and 33 minutes at the time of making this video away from the major Ethereum Berlin upgrade. So I know many of us have been waiting for EIP 1559. The major reason for that is because of obviously the burning of gas fees, which many people are believing is kind of holding Ethereum back. There are a number of other factors that are also having an impact on Ethereum. So these upgrades are always going to be worthwhile, and there's always going to be benefit in the longer term. This is basically another stepping stone towards Ethereum 2.0, which is likely to happen later on this year. So there'll be 4 EIPs injected into the Berlin upgrade. Okay, so the first one is EIP 2565, which is going to affect MODEX gas prices. Okay, so this is not the same as the gas fees that are used when people are trading Ether, but more when Ethereum is actually used by organizations. At the moment, the MODEX compiler is too expensive on Ethereum. The operation costs a disproportionate amount of gas, making it inefficient and expensive. EIP 2565 aims to make mod more viable by lowering prices. Okay, so obviously this is much better. Obviously, this allows for more usability, more companies to consider using Ethereum, and ultimately a kind of a better thing that's going to bring more exposure of Ethereum to more people. Now, bringing your attention on to EIP 2929, I don't want you to panic. Increasing gas costs for state access. Okay, so that's not increasing gas costs because obviously gas fees have been pretty high, although at the moment they're actually relatively low compared to where they have been in the last couple of months. Okay, this is associated with DOS attacks. In the past, they've tried to increase these fees to stop these attacks, however, has been unsuccessful. However, by roughly tripling the cost when a transaction performs one of these operations for the first time, EIP 2929 should close the vulnerability for good. It will act as a sort of a wrapper for future transaction types. Now, a lot of this stuff sounds very foreign. You know, I'm sure a few of you watching are developers, etc., who might understand a bit more exactly of what all this means. But ultimately, the downfall from this is that the project is improving, it's moving forward, it's making good progress. There's been a lot of rumors saying that no one's really working on Ethereum, which is obviously not true, and a lot of effort is going in. Ethereum has probably one of the largest teams in crypto working on it, and if they can deliver on time as they say they will, then it sets us in a good position for Ethereum 2.0 and into EIP 1559 once they confirm the dates for that. And I think once we hear about things like Berlin hardfork as well as London hardfork being sort of successful projects, we might sort of get a date in mind for 1559, which would obviously have a really positive effect on the price. Final piece of exciting news today before we head over to the charts and analyze Ethereum price is this piece over here on CoinDesk. New Ethereum-based derivatives trading platform wins EU MiFID license. And the good thing about trading platforms is they allow more people into the space, they add regulation, and this enables perhaps bigger players to get involved. Close Cross, a derivatives trading platform built on the Ethereum blockchain, has been granted a European MiFID license ahead of its market launch later this month. According to the announcement emailed to CoinDesk on Tuesday, this is the first time the license has been granted to the blockchain-based derivatives trading platform. So as mentioned, really positive news every time we hear sort of institutions as well as businesses getting regulated, as well as getting approved by governments. There's been a lot of FUD in the past about governments disproving projects, etc. So this is a very positive move in the right direction, in my opinion. So jumping into the charts, and this is Ethereum on the weekly chart. And as you see, we're playing out nicely, and we've been moving up through this rising wedge pattern for quite some time, back since sort of December, around the 21st of December. So looking at the daily on Ethereum, we had this symmetrical triangle pattern here, which we broke out of around the end of March. And we sort of slowly moved up, finding a bit of resistance at the 1950 level before breaking through and flipping that into support. Now, obviously, we have as well this rising wedge pattern. to move to the upside from that. So in terms of what that rising wedge breakout would be, in terms of a target, we would probably take it, and that would see us all the way up to $2,700, which is obviously, we're still well on our way to that, and we'll probably see resistance levels at around 2,300, 2,400. But what as well you've got to consider is people have price targets in mind, which tend to be around rounder numbers. Okay, so currently we're sat at around 2222, but we sort of stuck today at around the 2,200 number. We kind of bounced around there because obviously people have in mind key selling off areas. Now what we're seeing now on the 1 hour is particularly bullish. We've broken up and we saw around the area of 2,235 where we saw some pretty stiff resistance, testing it over the space of sort of 3 hours or so. But what we see here is these two lines in the past, which were previously lines of resistance. It appears that we have flipped those and turned them into support. Now don't be surprised, obviously I've drawn this sort of smaller chart pattern on here, this sort of pink wedge, which we have sort of played along the top of, and we could potentially come and see a retest before moving to the upside, in my opinion. However, as we can see, this line around the $2,200 level seems to be holding pretty solidly. What I would like to see, if we're going to see an upside move, is a break beyond this kind of current all-time high level here, but potentially, as we know, sometimes we can see a big break to the downside. So in terms of whether I'd be trading it literally right now, I think if you haven't already got in, then standing on the sidelines is probably the best bet, because we could see this come down and retest this level before moving to the upside. However, we could see a bit of consolidation before moving on further up. So obviously I want to just draw your attention to this point here, and this is why jumping into trade right this second is possibly not the wisest move. We had a couple of hours so we spent here, and then we dropped from around 2,208 all the way down to 2,120. Okay, so that's potentially where the move might take us. However, looking longer term in terms of buying opportunities, as I've mentioned, in my opinion, it's going to be heading towards $2,700 over the next coming week. Obviously, it's very difficult to tell exactly how long things are going to take. It will be interesting to see how that Berlin upgrade affects the price. As you can see, Bitcoin has jumped over $1,000 from its previous all-time high back on the 13th of March and is looking very solid. So that kind of obviously has an effect on the Ethereum price. Ethereum does tend to sort of follow behind Bitcoin a little bit. So jumping over to the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, as we see Ethereum lagging behind a bit, having dropped at the bottom of this symmetrical triangle. Bitcoin up 5.1%, Ethereum only up 4.4%. However, obviously when Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum will tend to come with it. But when Bitcoin is more steady, Ethereum will tend to see more gains. And obviously if Bitcoin drops, then, we tend to see a bit of a drop in Ethereum too. However, looking at this chart, we seem to have found a bit of support around this level here. And as you can see, we've come back, and this was a huge W breakout pattern, and we're still holding support around the top of this level here, which is still potentially very bullish for Ethereum. And if we're to zoom out a bit further and look at the weekly pattern, then you can still see that we're still in this ascending channel. And if we come all the way up to here, we could potentially see Ethereum being worth 5% of a Bitcoin. But as you can see, this is a weekly chart, so this could take a bit of time to play out. It took around 120 days between this last peak and the next peak, and sort of roughly 180 days between these. Okay, so it does take a bit of time, so we need to kind of maybe be a bit patient with it. But overall, this is looking healthy, bearing in mind that Bitcoin still seems to be making good progress, and it looks very bright for Ethereum. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. Again, please hit that like and subscribe button if you want to be entered for tomorrow's competition to win $50 worth of Ethereum, and if you want to be kept up to date with all of the latest Ethereum news and technical analysis as it happens. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you next time with another video. Bye.